Good morning and Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Tomorrow morning in synagogues around the world, we're going to read the fascinating story of the 12 spies that Moses sent to the land of Israel to scout out the land. But then we're going to read, sadly, how 10 of the 12 spies came back with a discouraging report, disheartening the nation from going to the land of Israel, saying, the people are too mighty. We felt like midgets, like grasshoppers in their eyes. The cities are too powerful and fortified. We cannot go up to the land of Israel. And the nation wept. And that nation was destined to wander in the desert for 40 years, never arriving in the promised land. Fast forward to today, 3,337 years later. And once again, the Jewish people are facing an enemy that seeks its destruction. And the Jewish people have to stand up and protect their Jewish homeland. And what do we see? The exact opposite, the complete reversal of the story of the spies. We see the courage, the bravery, the heroism of our young soldiers in defeating countless enemies from every single direction. And the question is, our generation didn't witness the 10 plagues, the splitting of the sea, the manna from heaven, the water from the rock, and yet our young soldiers are so brave. How is that the generation in the desert that witnessed all these miracles didn't have enough courage and bravery to go to the land of Israel? And one answer is that you see, they knew that they were living and experiencing miracles on a daily basis. But they also knew that once they came to the land of Israel, natural order would set in. They would have to plant and plow their fields to get grain. It wouldn't come from heaven. They would have to pray for rain. They couldn't just turn to the rock. And therefore they said, yes, supernaturally, miraculously, we could survive in the desert. We could overcome Pharaoh and all our enemies like Amalek. But once we're in a natural order world, how are we going to survive? And that was their mistake. Their mistake was they didn't realize that the same God who makes miracles runs the natural world as well. And therefore, in a natural world, he could provide miracles in a supernatural, divine way. And that's exactly what we're seeing today. There's no explanation to what is going on in Israel since October 7th. Then, God's hand. The whole world sees it. The whole world recognizes it. Little Israel, overcoming the Houthis and the Hamas and Hezbollah and Syria and Iran. How could it be? As a matter of fact, the minister of the Shas party, Aryeh Deri, said he met at a cabinet meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu the day after the attack, which the first night was filled with supernatural miracles. And the Prime Minister said, raising his hands to heaven, he said 2 words, divine assistance. And then he went on to say that the largest party in his coalition is divine assistance. Tell a story about an American tourist who came to Israel. He gets into a taxi and he says to the taxi driver, how are things going here in Israel? He says, Baruch Hashem, everything's going to be good. He says, but we have this problem, this enemy. And every time he poses a challenge, the taxi driver says, it's all going to be good, it's all going to be good. And finally the American tourist, was after October 7th, says, how do you know it's all going to be good with all these enemies around us? And the Israeli taxi said, tell me, you're from America? Yeah. He says, do you know Tom Cruise is? He says, of course. Top Gun, I've watched many of his movies. He says, do you ever worry during the movie that Tom Cruise is going to get killed? He says, no. He says, why not? He thinks about it and he says, well, because he's the main actor in the movie. If he dies, if he gets killed, there's no more movie. And the Israeli taxi driver says, exactly. We are the Tom Cruises of human history. We are the main character in God's plan. And therefore we know that Am Yisrael Chai, we're going to survive this, as we always have. You know why? Because without us, God doesn't have the Jewish nation to carry out his mission in this world. And so of course we're going to live. And I thought about this and I said to myself, wow, today we don't have Tom Cruise in Israel. We have tens of thousands of Israeli Air Force jet pilot fighters who are real Tom Cruises, not actors, not entertainers, not movie performers, not just doing stunts, but with real courage and bravery and determination are flying over the skies of Iran and eliminating all the evil regimes, leaders, just like we defeated the pharaohs and every other evil dictator. And this is the miracle before our eyes. And they're not doing it as a show, as entertainment for fun. They're doing it with a moral conscience, with a mission to save the world and to save the Jewish people from the grips of evil, from the enemies who seek our destruction. And they've eliminated these evil regimes one by one, and finally they will topple the last evil dictator, the head of the snake, Iran. And when that happens, once again, Am Yisrael, the Jewish people, will show the world what it means to be the chosen people. Have a wonderful Shabbat.